So when people said they were sending Trump to drain the swamp, it turns out it was not vibes, papers, or essays he was bringing. He decided it was time to freeze federal funding. Now, for people thinking about significance of this, we're talking about this covers $3 trillion a year, right? Federal aid is a humongous sum of money. And some of the reasons people are frustrated with the current use of said funds was brought up in the press conference done yesterday, the first press conference. I believe OMB found that we sent $50 million in condoms to Gaza.
In condoms.
And people are like, why would they, what's the problem here? I guess our diplomats think that the people in Gaza need to make love, not war. But I would just say, why is it that we're talking about $50 million in condoms? Like, this seems like a lot of money. Like, are there even 50 million people in this? But the point you need to remember is that when you're talking about federal aid, government money, it almost always is rewarding your friends. And so this is a gift to International Planned Parenthood. Like, that's why they're doing this. Like, whether or not they, need that many condoms in Gaza or not. Like, you don't get it. Like, that's not the point. They want to take your money, you taxpayers, want to take your money and give it to people that are their friends.
Right.
And again, foreign aid, is sort of a joke. I'm not religiously against it in every principle, but for the most part, I have to agree with what Ron Paul said. Foreign aid is taking money from poor people in rich countries and giving it to rich people in poor countries.
100%.
And someone brought up Meals on Wheels here in the chat. That actually was brought up in the press conference. No, that's not affected. Direct aid to individuals is not affected. Plus, that's $5 million. That's less than money we spend on condoms to Gaza. So it's
the Democrats are totally Saul Alinsky about this, though. They're not like, how can we do this pause? How else are we going to pay for condoms in Gaza? How else are we going to pay for transgender surgeries in Guatemala? They're always like, but Meals on Wheels and your Medicare at risk. Like, oh, well, that's not actually true. Doesn't matter. Let's run with it anyway.
It is. It's
because they lie through their damn teeth.
I had an insane interaction on Twitter. So, okay, because the new press conference was great. I enjoyed every second of it. Imagine a press secretary that speaks with clarity, without a binder, knows everyone's name, and invites all questions. Novel concept that we haven't had for 4 years. But there was a moment where she said the aid in Gaza thing, like, okay, $50 million in condoms going. OMB found that for last year. I went to the 2023 USAID report on how much the United States spends on contraceptions for the world. And I threw it up instantly. And as soon as she said it, I was like, maybe my wording could have been clearer, but basically I was like, is it reasonable to assume that based on this 2023 report that the United States would be sending that kind of money on contraceptives? And the answer, 2023 USAID, in total, 2023, and some of the examples are male condoms, oral contraceptives, IUDs. This is for the world. The United States spent $60 million in 2023 on all of this to the world. Now, what people were mad about was that nowhere in this said specifically it was being sent to Gaza. I said, let's all zoom out here for a second, take bird's eye view. What is the appropriate amount of money the United States should be spending on sending condoms anywhere?
Anywhere.
Zero. Like, you guys are outraged about the wrong thing. And is it reasonable to say that last year OMB found that we were spending money, significant amounts of money, sending contraceptives to Gaza? The answer is yes, based on this.
Why can't they spend their own money on rubbers? Why do I have to pay for it? In fact, I'd rather encourage people to have children. Like, we have a baby bust problem
all over the world. Right.
Well, even if we want to set aside the moral and ethical, quite possibly insurmountable obstacles to even just doing this, because who are the people attached to this initiative? George Soros, Bill Gates. It's all the worst of the worst. Put that aside for just 1 second. That is priority 1,000, maybe 1,000,001 for America right now, is sending condoms abroad. Like, America first.
Got to make sure I get condoms to Gaza.
Yeah.
Did you see what they were using them for too? Hamas
they used them as bombs.
Bombs. They were using the condoms to create bombs. Because it turns out radical Muslims don't believe in contraception. You dimwits. Read your Quran, for heaven's sake.
Well, don't, but yeah.
Well, don't.
Push this on that. Yeah. But no, it's just.
Yeah.
So is it reasonable?
I repeat my claim that we need this Trump revolution of common sense, because the fact of the matter is the American people have suffered these indignities for decades now. And finally, we're having someone who's listening to us and doing something about it, saying, why are we paying for rubbers in Gaza? This is dumb. Why are we paying for transgender surgeries in Guatemala? This is dumb. We're going to stop doing it. Like, and everyone's like, what? Like, Republicans normally would, rail against this, but then impotently do nothing about it.
Right.
Trump's like, well, we should stop it, right? And everyone's like, what? That'll get people upset.
That'll stop the gravy train.
So what? Like, this is stupid. We should not be doing this.
All right.
And so I'm glad we have a president that is willing to take the heat and have a lot of people scream and yell at him when, in fact, I'm agreeing with what you're doing. Thank you.